It's a beautiful morning. Welcome to Women's Corner. Here we talk about everything that has to do with women, training issues, especially in relationship and marriage. And of course, for the girl child, we're also here. And also to help men to be able to coexist with women. Because in as much as you think women are a bag of trouble, you know that we have an amazing attributes too. So we're always here to make sure you understand how best you can handle or coexist with a woman. My name is Rose Blossom and you're welcome to the show. Remember, this show runs through Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. And of course, if you know you don't have a TV set close to you, you can actually watch us live on Facebook and on Twitter at Galaxy Television. And of course at Galaxy Television Entertainment, that's Galaxy TV Entertainment. And also we have our app on Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, so you can always dial in and of course download the app so you can watch all of our live programs. And remember, we are on YouTube, so you can actually watch us on YouTube at Galaxy Television, Galaxy TV Entertainment. We have Galaxy TV Comedy and of course Galaxy TV News. You are welcome to the show. Today we are talking about conflict and argument in marriage, and of course relating to relationships too. So we're here to discuss that today, and we have an amazing personnel that will be doing justice to this topic. But before we go and introduce her, let's quickly go for a short break, and after the short break I will introduce my guest. Then we'll start talking about conflict and of course arguments in relationship and in marriage. Stay with us. Let's go for the break. All right, welcome back. So my guest today is Dr. Mrs. Olubumi Banjo. She is a lecturer at Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. She's also the head of multimedia department and of course also a mass communication department. She is also a women advocate. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, ma'am.
It's good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, let's start talking. So my first question is, obviously we know even without being in a relationship or in marriage, you always have this argument, you have this conflict. But let's talk about marriage and relationship. We know we are in love. I'm in love with this man. So what makes it, why is it that men always feel that women are more argumentative, and even if there's peace for a long time, women will just want to bring something up to cause a little conflict. They'll tell you they are bored. So when there's this back and forth, they feel like, okay, now the relationship is happening, they don't want to get bored, it shouldn't be all peaceful. Why do you think women have that kind of nature in us?
First of all, I will first let us know that conflict is a normal thing. It's a normal occurrence when it comes to marriage. But the most important aspect of it is how to manage it. And when we are talking about conflict, I do call it daily debate. So to your question now, why do women like to come up with something to just aggravate the environment? It's because we call it daily debate. We have to say something. And when it comes to conflict, what normally causes sources of conflict are something that is unpredictable. And women's nature, our nature, what the men will not count to be something serious, it is what we now count on. Okay, this is what I want, this is how it's supposed to be. And our language, the normal language we use to express our feelings, it comes with emotion. And at times, our men, they will just see it as if we are blackmailing them or the way they will take it. But it all depends on how we manage ourselves. We can't erase conflict when it comes to marriage. It's a normal thing.
Okay, it's a normal thing. I like the fact where you said a normal thing because I believe, yes, women, in fact, if there's any relationship, I even used to tell some men, if there's any relationship you're in, and that woman does not drag with you, she does not argue with you, she's always like, okay, she's always saying, okay, I've heard you. There's something wrong. She probably does not even love you.
Yes. Of course.
So I don't know, you already, so you already said it. We come with a lot of emotions. In fact, I won't call it lots, we come with bags of emotions. Now, at this point now, when some men, sometimes we can even overdo it. So when we are overdoing it, we are, today, and, sometimes if we are not careful, we do it today, tomorrow we'll do it again, next tomorrow we'll do it again. The man is already losing his peace. But to us, we are probably not seeing it that way because of how much emotions we have. Now, at this point, before we start talking to the women to please manage yourself, at this point, what do you think a man should be able to do that would be able to help the woman probably control it or know she's doing it the wrong way?
The thing is this. Like I said, that the important aspect of it is to how to manage. We are different, individual differences. And what causes this conflict in our homes is quite different. What I'm managing in my own is quite different from what you are managing in your home. So we have different occasions, different occurrences that cause conflict. But what I know that it majorly curb or can suppress what we call this conflict of a thing that will not lead to another thing entirely, number one is communication. We have to know how to communicate with each other. And our communication level, open and honest communication, that's number one. We listen to ourselves. Not that I'm pouring my mind with my emotion and you are just ignoring my side. You abandon me, that is your own cup of tea. No, it will not work out. I want you to listen, that's why I'm saying it out. So we need to come together, we need to meet at the level ground. Let us know, in marriage, we are coming from different backgrounds. But when we are together, we must know how to accommodate each other. We must know how to express ourselves, and the other person must know how to listen attentively. The listening must be in an active way, not that you pour your mind in an emotional way, and he will just ignore you. That is where you have that thing to reoccur again. The second day, the third day, even weeks, because it has never been attended to, and you want the person you are talking to correct himself. So that is one of the things that makes a marriage worse when it comes to conflict. And also, the spouse, either wife or husband, must understand this, what we call this emotion, that is empathy. The way we express ourselves, okay, it's my wife, okay, maybe during the time of ovulation, this is how she behaves. You have to understand her. Maybe when she's in a pregnant situation, this is how she behaves. You must know how to curb those things so that it will not aggravate. And again, we can also say that you need to compromise. We have to negotiate whatever we are doing. We must compromise with ourselves. Okay, this is what you want, this is how you feel. Okay, let's meet at the common ground. Okay, I will do this, I will shift for you. You must be willingly to meet in enough way when it comes to marriage, because we are coming from different homes. And we must know, because we are producing another future for ourselves. So you must know how to manage what we have on ground. So we must be able to meet at the halfway, and also we must be able to establish a healthy boundaries. Like the question you asked, the emotion, there must be boundary for it. We women, you have said your own. At least give that person time. What is constant is change, but before you can make that thing happen, it will take time. So you give that spouse, okay, I've said my own. In the next 2-3 days, that you know, or even weeks. It all depends on how the person used to change his own emotion or his own mindset. You know, we have some men that they will tell you, this is what I want, and that is how it is. But at times, you have to go back to him. Sorry, my dear, this is not what I meant. This is what I wanted us to do. This is maybe because the way I presented the case that made you to feel that, okay, sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay, what do you want me to do? You know, speaking in that manner, the way, the tone will bring the man calm. It will bring that man down. And okay, don't worry. That is where you hear the man, they will say, okay, let me think about it. You are becoming a champion. So those are the things we need to work on ourselves. And whatever we are doing, we should not blame. We should not shift blame on anybody. You are the one that caused it. No. Let's iron out. Let's save what we are discussing. Let's know what the problem is. It's not that because you did this, that is why you are having this. No. Don't shift blame. Focus on the problem. not on the where the problem is coming from. The problem that is on ground, let's know how to focus on it, not to shift blame. So those are the things we need. And when it comes to maybe you have tried all what I've talked about, then seek professional help. We have a lot of marriage counselors, we have a lot of guidance that will guide us. Okay, this is how it's supposed to be. Don't do this. So those are the things we need as women. Not that, okay, the language my husband understands is if I don't cry, or if I don't shout, or if I don't fight, he will not get me right. No, it is not like that at times.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I like what you just said. You even gave you gave more in depth to some questions that I've not even yet asked. So I'm not even going to ask those questions. And I love the fact where you said a lot of people should not look at where the problem is coming from. That is the person in question.
Yeah.
Don't blame the person, but attack the problem itself. Yeah. What is the issue is what you should attack. Now, we've heard that a lot of persons have said, a lot of people will tell you that the more you have conflicts, the more you have arguments in your marriage, it strengthens your marriage, it brings the bond. But I want to ask now, how do you actually believe it actually strengthens the bond of the two couples, or the couples rather? Do you think it strengthens them or strengthens their marriage? Or, like you said earlier on, it could actually, cut down the bond they had in their marriage or relationship?
It all depends on how we manage our conflict. If you manage conflict well, it will bond the relationship, it will bond the marriage. At least, let's say, first 5 years of marriage, a wise woman must be able to understand the husband within that first 5 years. And those are the times that are so much difficult when it comes to marriage. Those are the times you need to understand each other, because you are coming from different backgrounds. And don't forget that we have external influence. The family, friends, the colleagues at work, those are the people there separately. But you have to know, okay, we are coming to communication again now. You must be able to communicate. This is my life, this is my dislike. This is what I want from this one. So you'll be able to even, you have a lot of, at times, cultural beliefs also cause a conflict in marriage. I'm coming from different background. Maybe I'm a Yoruba. I guess I'm a Yoruba lady. And my husband is from Eastern State. You must know, you have been there. You are the one that choose him to marry him. So you must know you must learn their own cultural values too. So that at the end of the day, you don't have problem in your marriage. And also you see, if one is not careful, that's when you see them, okay, I'm an Igbo girl. I don't know that Yoruba people used to do this. But you should have known this before going into it, so that you not give yourself problem. So at initial stage, let's say 5 years, you must be able to learn so many things about your marriage. And at the end of the day, with the argument you'll be having will not be a bad one. The conflict will not be a bad one, but at least the one that will resolve issues. Conflict is a love Olympic. We have marriages of 50 years, 50 years married that they do argue. Yes. So it's a love Olympic, but management is what we need. How to manage this thing. Like the way you want to express yourself, you should not shout. The tone you are bringing to that person, our men with ego, they are the head. They are the head of the family. So you must be able to know how to pass your information, how to react, not with an insulting word, not with in a raising voice that you want people to hear you that you are saying it because you are right. Remember, when it comes to marriage and you want it to work, there should be nothing like I am the right one. Even if you want to express yourself, okay, you hurt me, but I felt hurt when you did this thing. I felt hurt when I saw this. It's not that hey, you are the one that caused this, you did this, you did. So those things will make men to be more angry. And you know the environment. Even when you are talking about, okay, let's look at the situation we are in the country now, economically. Here we have a family of 3 kids and spouse, management of that house. At times, the man will be feeling the heat. Even the woman too is feeling it too. But it all depends on how you come together and we know what is happening. But that is where you see some women that one is not my problem. Oh. You have to make payment for this. You have to provide for us. This is how we are going to do it. This is where we are, how we have been doing it, and that is how we are going to do it. We should be able to know how to meet in a halfway so that things will work out for us very.
Mm. Okay, thank you very much. We have to know how to meet ourselves halfway. Now that brings us to the question from what you have said now, that how can couples actually identify the real problem? Like you said, attack the issue and not where it's coming from. That is the person. Now, we obviously know that when there is an argument, probably maybe they are raising their voice, the woman is raising her voice rather, and the man is probably also raising his voice, or, you know, usually in worst case scenario, is usually the woman that is always at the top of her voice, while the man is probably quiet, you know, tired of the arguments and all of that, and still trying to maybe still respond to what she's saying, but not raising her voice. The woman is always the one probably raising her voice and panting all around, you know, walking around. Yeah. Now, at this point, most times they will say when you're having an argument, your hearts are far apart. And the reason why you shout is because at that point is as if the person is not listening. So it's as though you want to just put the words into the person's head. So that's why you shout. Now at this point, it's very difficult for the both of them to be able to even identify the problem. Like we said, we have to only attack the problem and not the person. So how can couples, how can both the woman and the man be able to identify where the problem is and just, you know, calm down to just, you know, deal with the problem and not, you know, raise voices at themselves? Is there a technique, or is there a subtle way a woman or a man can identify that issue so that they could easily, you know, overcome the conflicts they're having?
You know, when you are talking about conflict and marriage, I've already made it clear that we can't detach from it. But to identify problems, like you will see some men, wise men, let me use that language. Wise men, when it comes to marriage, when they have arguments with their wife, that's where you see them at home taking the car key and went out to cool off their eyes somewhere. So, and we women, the way we tackle issues, it happened to me. I always do that too. You know, we want to express our mind, and we want you to answer us at that particular time. And that is how we feel relaxed. Well, even if you are telling us lies, just say something. Just say something like the way of, okay, let me console. And that's why I said we need to understand ourselves. And this thing lies mostly on women. You know your husband is an introvert person. He doesn't talk like you, and you are extrovert. You are the kind of person that talks. Whenever you have anything to discuss with him, you might not say it in a loud voice, or this thing has been is a character. So for you to correct that thing, you have to think. You have to think. Because to convince somebody that is an introvert and it has been doing that thing for a very long time, and you want to convince, that is when you hear, am I just doing it now? Do you just know me? When you want to correct that thing. And most especially when I mentioned the problem that we should tackle the problem, let's use children parenting. Let's use that as an example. We have kids at home. The way we nurture our child, we know. And it's most common when you are going into marriage, you have it in your head. This is how I want my family to be. This is how I want to train my children. But your husband, coming from his own end too, has already had the mind. And mostly, if we are not careful and we are having disagreement on this rearing of this kid, it will create a problem. Generational problem will start from there, because we are creating the kids. Daddy will say this, mommy will say this, and at the end of the day, the kid himself will take his own action on his own. Like, okay, I know daddy will say this, let me just do what I want or what I like. So whenever this is happening in our family, we should be able to tackle the problem. Okay, this thing I don't like it, and my child is doing it, and I know it's the mother that caused it. It's the mother that asked him to go ahead. We call the boy. That is where the story will come from. The vision you have for your family, that is where it will come from. Like, let me give you an example. When I was so young, then my age was about between 10 and 14. When my father and my mother was having an argument, very hot one. My father is an introvert. My father will never talk. He will never talk. And my mommy will be shouting, hey, this and that. But my father will call me. Mommy, come. I noticed something. Let me give you the explanation. It is when my father will explain, as more as I was then, my father will explain to me. That's when I will go to my mother. And mommy, is not like that. So our daddy said that. So you can see that he used the wisdom to tackle that situation at that time. So those are the things we need to work on. It is not all the time that we want our voice to be heard. We need tactics. Games, we have games, but we should use that game in a very diplomatic way so that we will enjoy our marriage. It's not easy. You are a manager. When it comes to marriage, we are all managers. We are managing our own. So for a better management, we need to come down and reason and also look at what is happening around us and use that one to motivate ourselves so that we will not fumble.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Doctor, you said something earlier. You talked about walking out. There are some men that are very wise. You know, the best thing they do is just take their car keys and, drive out, or they just walk out. Now, let's be honest. I've seen a lot of women that, they tend to really probably appreciate the men walking out because they realize that when the men stay, it becomes even worse. So it's better they allow the men go. But let's be honest, for most people that are even coming up, you see when you advise them and you tell them, allow the man to walk out. When you pick his key, just allow him go. It's difficult for a woman that has not seen the worst case scenario to understand that it's actually easy if the man walks out of the home than stay there. But really, after walking out of the home, does it really solve the issue on ground? Doesn't it pile up the emotions for the woman? And doesn't it make it look like the woman is maybe not, I don't know, how do I put it? Okay, doesn't it make the woman feel probably less because the problem is not solved? Does it mean that when he comes back, the situation would not still continue? Maybe on a lower tone, maybe not on the shouting part, but it will still, talk about it. So, but for you, what do you think? I don't know. I want to understand the scenario behind the working out. I understand it is safer to work out, but at the same time, working out and, coming back to still see the same issues, what's the math around that? I do not understand.
On this aspect, that is where marriage counselor comes in. If the conflict has been a persistent one all the time, we need an external person, marriage counselor, not just anybody. Not just anybody. And when we are talking, I know when couples have been meeting with marriage counselor, they will have mentioned that aspect to them. This young generation that we have now, they don't want to hear anything because of the mindset they are bringing down into the marriage. What they have in their head, I will not allow any man to cheat me. I will not allow any man to molest me. I will not allow any man to do what I don't like for me. We have equal rights in marriage. Those are the things they have at the back of their mind before coming into the marriage. And it really affects them. So they don't listen to guidance, they don't listen to any counselor. They just say, I will manage my own, I know how to deal with my husband. Kebi is my husband. You don't know what I'm facing. That is the language we hear from them. But when men take that pain, there is even in women, not only man, even in women, we have animal in us. And if you don't allow him to go at that time, that is where you have problem. It will lead to another thing entirely. And then those people that wish to lock their husband, you will not go out until you do this or you do that. It will result to fighting, beating. And that is where problem will come from. So it is better to allow the man to go at that time. But you are at home, bottling that problem with you again. Remember your health. At least At that time that is not there with you, you too, you need something to unwind. Take your mind cool and relax. Okay, when he comes back, you change that pattern. You shouted at him when he was going, but by the time he come back, oh no, my dear, that is what I meant. I wanted to, that thing I was not feeling all right. I was just bottling it on my own. Come and see. I've been thinking about it for a very long time. I don't know how to present it, and I know my presentation is wrong. Please, this is how I want it. But the submission, the submission is another thing entirely when it comes to marriage, our guys. The submission to this thing is another thing. So they want to claim, okay, so by the time he comes back, he's coming to meet me here, and that's another tug of war. We are going to fight it to finish. We are going to. We need to come together and meet. No matter the situation may be, no matter how bad the man may be that you think he is, you have somebody that maybe you listen to. Just, okay, this is what I want. I want my husband to do this. And he's saying he's not doing it. Elderly person, reasonable person. Because when it comes to marriage, you can't just talk to anybody. You need a reasonable person to talk with. And will give you very good advice, not the one that will mislead or will give you another problem.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. Our time is far running. Okay, now you talked about people settling conflict, and of course, I'm certain that if you keep having reoccurrence of a particular thing that is probably negative to you, you'll get tired, you'll get bored, and even if you love that thing, you're going to definitely fall out of love. And that is where they say see finish. You understand? When you have something too much at your beck and call, you will end up not really appreciating that thing. Now, for couples who probably have reoccurring conflicts, maybe the same problem. I don't like it when you probably come home. I don't like it when you come home drunk. And the next time they're having an issue, is the same thing she's saying. I don't like it when you come home drunk. It keeps occurring, and before you know, it might become something that the woman will start, maybe the husband will not be someone that she really fancies anymore because he's always coming home drunk. The respect might reduce, the value for even the marriage probably might reduce because she's saying the same thing all over and all over again. Or maybe the man is always like, I don't like the way you nag. Say one thing and drop it. And she does the same thing the next time, and on and on and on and on. Now, how do you think couples can make sure that they, reduce or probably stop reoccurring conflicts, especially when it's the same thing they keep talking about? What are the ways they can actually stop such reoccurrence?
Yeah, there's something we call timeout. You have been saying something continuously, and you notice that this thing is not yielding any result, and it's even giving your husband wrong impression or hatred. That time, you must know that this thing you need to let go, or you shift plan, change your style. Okay, for example, you mentioned husband coming home drunk. We can call it environment at times. Like those people working in Lagos, traffic of the thing, that is the excuse they will give, okay, because there's traffic in so I have to park somewhere and sit down and pull off my hair so that by the time it's 7, 8 o'clock, the road will be fine. But at times when you know that your husband is the kind of person drinking, not drunkard, but takes alcohol, I will advise at times you set your bar at home. At least you do something at home. Okay, maybe in a relaxing time. My dear, I saw this. I hope it's your favorite. I saw you when you ask somebody or when you took it sometimes ago. This is what I have. Can you take it? At that time, on a Saturday or weekend, the husband will have that feeling of, okay, what I want to go and take outside is even here. Let me just pull off my head and drink. But at times, it's somewhat difficult for ladies to do that because they think some people are going to buy alcohol because a lot of girls believe when I don't take care of alcohol and I can't buy it. Remember, this man is the husband. You are together for better or what? And you know he has been doing that before you get married to him. So that is where you need to set your ground rule. You shift your ground so that there will be no grievances on that. Because the other will tell you, you want to tell me you don't know I take alcohol, you want to tell me that you don't know my friends and I, we do this, we do that. So you must know how to control the situation. It's a fact that it is women that hold the house. And these men, when there is peace, oh, they will stay. But if there is no peace, they will love to go out. And that is where the problem comes. You see a lot of girls outside there that they give them that peace that they are looking for. So we need to come together and set our ground so that we just meet, we balance the equation. It is not easy, but it all depends on how we do our own calculation. And once we have already known the spouse, my husband is the kind of person that loves this, let me just work on it and do it for him. You see that things will go on fine. Whatever you want to argue on, we just argue on a neutral ground. In fact, you can even decide on, okay, my husband is taking a, what are the names of this alcohol? Okay, this is his brand. Okay, let me zip when he's taking his cup. You zip from me. It's not if that doesn't take you a drunkard. He's your husband. Like what some people will say that let me be a prostitute to my husband. That is the generation we have now. It is your husband, not somebody else. You can just share the glass with him to show love at that time. And you see, you do that. The husband will ask, when did this start? It's because of you now. Maybe I'm the one that buys it and I want it to feel at home. You will see different with them. But when you continue nagging, they are women who. And when we just say, okay, by the time I get home now, she's going to shout, let me just stay small. And another thing will come in. You will not be able to control it again. So it's better we calm down and fix our own by ourselves.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, one last thing before we let you go is, what is the one key takeaway you want couples to always remember about handling their conflicts or arguments? That one key takeaway you want every couple to always remember when they are having conflicts or arguments amongst themselves. What's that thing?
That one key is forgiveness. We should learn how to forgive ourselves. Letting go. Whatever the situation may be, whatever the argument may be, let it go. Forgiveness is the key. It is not when you say, okay, it happened last year. You now make reference, and that was how you did last year. Abba. It will, in fact, it will give somebody an headache. Okay, last year, you still remember that month. Forgiveness. That is how we can manage ourselves. That's how we can make it. Let go. And it must happen to we women. You don't forget those things. That happens when we are dating. I told you that we should do this. Let's learn how to forgive and forget.
Thank you very much for your input. You gave amazing input, just like a mother and a wife. And of course, I would have loved you to share your experience, but our time has gone. I wanted you to share a life experience where you had it coming, and this was the only way. Or I can still spare. I can cancel every other thing. If you want to share for us, we'll be so glad so we can learn.
I will.
Okay, please go ahead. Share one for us.
My experience in marriage. My mindset before getting married, let me say that was what helped me most, because I married to an elderly man, he's older than me. And by that, I think I felt, okay, this man is older than me. And in my marriage, I have stepdaughters in my home. I saw them as my sisters. We are together. Up till this moment, I'm talking to you. Whenever they want to do anything, they will call me. You want to do this, should we go ahead? And I say, yes, fine. If it is not good, don't do that. If they insist, call your father, call your mother, go and do it. I am not interested in that. So, my experience in marriage, what I learned is perseverance. And I always do something for myself. I set targets. I give myself 5 years. And when the 5 years complete, I will check back. What did I do? What happened? So, and what I enjoy most in my marriage is communication. My husband is an introvert person. I don't talk to him in daytime. It's either at the midnight or early in the morning. That's where I will start my room. If I want to cry, I will cry. If he is sleeping, I will not allow him to sleep. He will listen to me at that time. That's how I do it. Daytime, I will not talk. I will just be looking at him. But in the morning or midnight, I'll say, this thing happened yesterday. I was just looking at you, what to do. I've already allowed him to do his own, what he wanted to do. I stomach it at that time at my own detriment. But in a way not to continue with it, to correct that aspect. Please, I don't like it. This is what I hate most or something. So, and if, at the end of the day, he will know that he cannot continue to do that or he doesn't want to do that with me. So, it takes two to tango. That is what we need to know. When we are going into marriage, if you already have the mindset of, I am the boss, you are going to be the boss too. But without that mindset, my husband is my boss, and whatever he wants, we can just shift ground and come to meet ourselves at the middle. Fine. Everybody will be fine. Like my son will say, everybody will be happy.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Doctor is off right now. All right. That's actually, we've come to the end of the program. Actually, I was supposed to take a tip, but of course we have to hear some of the things she wanted to share with us from her personal experience, and of course what she learned. And I hope you know that was Dr. Mrs. Olubumi Banjo. She's a lecturer at Federal Polytechnic Ilaro in Mass Communication Department, and also she's the head of Department Multimedia Technology at the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, and also she is a women advocate. You can hear from her how she was really focusing on the women, on how women need to manage conflicts and arguments. And of course, for those who are planning to settle, you have to, if it will help you to be submissive, you have to look at your husband as the boss, as the leader, and think that way it's easy for you to be able to handle your conflict and your arguments. To wrap up everything, most of what she said was communication, to be open and to be honest. Also, she talked about understanding, and she said when you're having recurring conflict, you should always have a time out. Rest. In fact, just rest. And she says it's not easy. Yes, having conflict, arguments, it's as though you're sweeping your emotions under the carpet, but it's not easy, but you still just have to try. You also must, importantly, have Black's keywords where you must be able to forgive. Forgiveness is key. Some person will say, I can forgive, but I can't forget. No wahala. Keep the forgetfulness on. Or rather, don't forget. Keep wear it on as an apron if you want, but you must always learn to forgive. No matter how much it keeps coming to your head, you have to make sure you keep forgiving. Your not forgetting should be on the part of where you have to learn from that something that has happened, whatever that has happened. It's just for you to learn. You not forgetting is not for you to always say this is what you did the other time, this is what you did the other time. So yes, we know it's not easy, but always learn to forgive. And if you know you don't have the spirit of forgiveness, please do, from me actually, she didn't say that. It's better you don't even get married. Just stay single, because no marriage will ever work without you having the spirit of forgiveness. So we've come to the end of the program today. We can't take any life hack, we can't take any health tips, and neither can we take any safety tips, because our time is already up. Anyways, my name is Rose Blossom. Enjoy your day, but up next is News on the Air, and right after that, as usual, is Thursday edition, where we have lifestyle and relationship. You do not want to miss this one today. Okay, just stay with us. By 12:05 we'll be starting the buzz just after the news, but just stay with us, and until then, come your way again on the buzz. Do have a beautiful day for yourself. Bye for now.